Yo, what is up YouTube? For today's video, we're gonna go ahead and do a low taper fade with a texture fringe on top. To start this haircut, we're gonna go ahead and grab our number 4 guard and set in our base. Now it's gonna be important to stay consistent throughout the whole round of the head with this number 4 guard. As you guys know, we need a solid foundation for a solid fade. Alright y'all, now we're gonna go ahead and punch in that guideline, followed up by the lever open, no guard. Coming right back at you with the lever open, 0.5, aka the half guard. Now we're gonna go ahead and make sure we go over this multiple times just to make sure everything. Check out that technique. That's a little technique. If the hair be running away, just go ahead and put that comb on top of it and start flicking. After that, this is our one. This is us doing our little flick up with the one. Be light on the touch, assertive on the first couple strokes, and then as you get to the top of that number 1, start flicking out. So that next transition with the clipper over comb right here gonna be effortless. Sometimes you might even be able to skip the 1.5. I believe I do skip the 1.5 right here. So just that clipper over comb work, you know, I go ahead and close the lever gradually as it gets lighter, or areas that I see darker, I just go ahead and close it a little bit. Right here we showing some love to the C cup right here. You guys will see soon his C cups are very inconsistent, but check out my hand placement when I'm doing these lineups. Don't skip through this part, especially if you're a beginner. I say this all the time, barber mechanics is just as important as learning the steps, if not more important than learning the steps. Because what's knowing the steps if you don't know the mechanics to it? So now, I'm getting sidetracked, man, but we're going to go away and get rid of that last line. We're going to go ahead, close, halfway, open. And anything in between, man, we just going to close it up a little bit. Be soft with the touch, man. When y'all get to that halfway, it should already be blended. As y'all can see, I'm halfway and I'm open. I didn't even have to go open, but we're going above and beyond on this side. So, you know, we're flicking at it a little bit here and there. Comment down below if you can see what I'm flicking at. All right, here, shaver mode, man. Y'all gotta go ahead and flick that up. Do not go all hard, man, because that's the hardest line in the barber books, in the barber history. Not even the barber guys to save you how to get in that line out. Not even the sharpest trimmers, as y'all can see, could help you get that line out right there, man. But this is how it looks right now. You know, I see a little inconsistency within the bulk and on top, so we're gonna go ahead and chop it up. And if you're not too sure what I'm doing here, don't worry, I go very in depth into how to get rid of this line on the other side. And now for the other side, we're gonna go ahead and comb out the hair. I should have done this in the beginning of the video, but I was so eager to show y'all, I just did one side and now I'm doing the other side. So this is how we're gonna do it. We're gonna go ahead and separate the top from the bottom. When doing this, you want to identify where your recession is at and where your crown is at. In this video linked above, I go more in depth on finding the natural growth pattern, the recession, the crown. So go ahead and check this video. It's about to hit 20k. You might be the 20th K follow. Hey, you know what they say about being the 20th K? You get some good voodoo, so you might want to tap in. Nonetheless, whatever y'all do on one side, y'all do to the other. So this is us setting in our base and making sure we're consistent with every stroke, making sure that everything below the parietal ridge is at a number 4. However, I don't want to take it too high. I don't want to take it up too high because he wants a bulky look. Now we're gonna go ahead and punch in that ball guideline. A great tip that I could give you guys is that I always start my low tapers at the top of the ear. At the beginning of your barber stage, it's hard to do a fade and then come back because sometimes you get lost and you don't really know where you left off. But if you use facial structure, quote unquote, like, remember that whenever you do a low taper, you always start it at the top of the ear. When you come back, you won't be lost because you'll remember that you always say your low tapers there. That's a really helpful tip that helped me in the beginning, because as beginner barbers, y'all know sometimes you be getting a little too blurry, you be getting lost in the sauce, man. Now we're gonna start off with the lever closed and then transition to halfway and open. As I open up the lever, I am gonna be lighter with my touch. So I'm gonna put some good pressure for that bottom line to get it out, and then when I'm halfway, some medium pressure, and then when I'm fully open, I'm gonna be really light to the point where I kind of just hover over some spots. Contact with the skin and blade is very, very minimal, as y'all can see. And then there's a couple of dark spots, so I go over to my 1 and then I start poking at those ridges. Shout out to these 245 guards. I like having them in my arsenal because I feel like they really do dig in and pick up the hair and cut Sometimes them wall guards be pushing the hair too much. That's when I bust those out, the green ones. Now fellas, to get out that line we created with the number 4 in the beginning of the video, as I lift off this hair, notice how the bottom doesn't have that line. That line is being created from all the hair above here. So we are going to go ahead, lift up, make sure that hair is parallel, and thinning shear over comb, boom, boom, boom. I usually like to do 3 clicks, you know, maybe 4, maybe 5, depending on the thickness, and then comb it down and see how it lays. So usually I just try to thin out the ends of the hair, which are creating that bulk line. That way we could keep that bulk, but that line will go away, if that makes sense. Comment down below. That was a little gem. For the back of the taper, I'm gonna tell you guys this: whenever you guys encounter the neck taper, remember that you need to 2x the thickness of your guidelines. So whatever your guidelines were on the side, like, make them thicker in the back. Do not be stingy. The only way you don't get a gradient fade is if you make these guidelines tiny. Number 2, go through your systems. You're better off going by number. So what I mean by that is like lever open, half, what comes after the half, the 1, the 1.5, and then 2. The back, you're really gonna have to set in all your numbers first and then go ahead and fade out. Hopefully you guys learned a lot from this video. I'm gonna go ahead and shut my mouth and let y'all see what I'm doing. Close, we did the halfway. I'm loving how it's looking at the bottom. Now we have this big, what seems like a big line, but this is exactly how we want it. The bottom is looking crispy. Now we just have to worry about this last line, connecting the bottom to the top. What we're gonna do here is flake out as much as we possibly can until we feel like we're gonna create another line with the lever open, and then go ahead and work our way down. So we're gonna go ahead and smack on our 1.5, our 1, and then we're even gonna get to our half guard. So I'm always starting whatever guard it is that I put on. I'm always starting it open, then gradually closing it, and if it doesn't do any damage, I go ahead and go a different number and then start closing the lever as needed. And that's exactly what happened right here in this video. As y'all could tell, I'm in my half guard right here, started with the 1, and now I see it getting out. So now I go ahead and do the same thing on the other side, and as y'all could tell right here, man, we getting light. It's getting lighter. Now if you feel like you're finished, go ahead and move on to the lineup. Remember, you don't want to stay in one spot for too much. We want to be mindful of our client's time. Remember to pay attention to my offhand to see how I maneuver with the ear, or what certain areas I press on the ear, and what type of strokes. As you guys can see, I'm going forward, and then for the top of the ear, I'm going backwards just to get that crispy lineup. And don't forget those little hairs right over here. Now we're gonna go ahead and separate the fringe from the top. Now this is very important because this is the first thing your client's gonna see when you hand them that mirror. What I like to do is I like to start in the middle, as well as use the tight side of the comb to create even tension. Now we're gonna go ahead and set in our base and right in the middle. Notice after every cut, I go ahead and tilt my fingers a little bit up, contouring the best I can to his face shape. And this is where the artistic side of barbering comes to play. So same thing on this side, but notice how I comb and I cut. I'm always coming from the top. So I came from the top and now I'm snipping, right? But when I need to elevate, check out this stroke. So I go from the top and now I go from the bottom. The bottom scoop allows me to create some elevation. Now we just gotta go ahead and connect those pieces. Now off to the top. Alright, now that we know everything's connected, I noticed that this area right here was a little darker than everything else. So I went ahead with my feather comb razor to thin it out and add some texture. Now, if you don't have this thing in your arsenal, you gotta get it. It gives you like an effortless, wispy look. Remember, fellas, we can't be robots, we are artists. So whatever you feel like you have to do in order to get that perfect look, go ahead and do it, man. Let's not be average, man. Let's shoot for the stars. Finally, we established our length in the middle, so now we're going to be doing a mohawk sectioning and we're going to be cutting vertically. Notice how I'm utilizing the backside of my comb to flatten the hair, which will allow us for easy pickup. The reason I like to do this vertically is because check this out. So right now we're going to pull up, and as you guys can see, I tilt my fingers right here and you guys will be able to see the guide. So the small guide is right there, and now we just got to match all that other hair to it. Now, if I turn my client to the side, which I will in a bit here, you guys could literally see how much higher the top of his head is compared to where his forehead is, which means this length on top has to be way shorter than what it is on the front. So going back to the reason why I like to do vertical sectionings is because we take into consideration the shape of the head. Now we're going to go ahead and do another vertical section, and be sure to pick up a bit of the last section as we will use this as a guide. Now once you guys are done doing the same technique on the other side, I'm going to show you guys how to double check your work. Never do you want to go ahead and skip this part right here. Whatever you cut vertically, you check horizontally. So this is us double checking our work, and as y'all can see, we did a pretty good job here. So YouTube, this is the final cut, man. Let me know what y'all think about the low taper. Comment down below if we got my boy right. Hey man, this one looking crazy. And if you guys are wondering what I use in his hair, or you guys are wondering my styling technique, go ahead and follow my Instagram. I'm leaving all the socials on the description, so make sure to follow your boy on the socials, man. I'm more active.